Good morning, fellow readers. It's been quite a while since I have posted anything. Uh, I have been in a little bit of a slump lately, um, but I'm getting back into it. Like I said before, I really do enjoy reading, but like anybody else, during school, college, graduate school, work, family, had very little time to do it. Now that I'm retired or semi retired, I am loving to read. And I appreciate all those YouTubers out there that post different things about books that they've read, books that they're going to read, this, that, and the other thing. A couple things I just want to get into, and I know it's not really has anything to do with reading, but some things that people should be kind of aware of, because in this day and age, I know people are busy with work, with families, kids and school and everything else, but you have to go a little bit beyond that. You have to kind of listen to the news every once in a while to find out what's going on. And this morning, something kind of troublesome hit me a little bit when they showed that Russia and North Korea are now taking part together in war training exercises. Now, that's a little disturbing to me because obviously North Korea is communist, dictatorship. Russia, the same thing with Putin, dictator. Um, you know, these things are kind of concerning, and we should, as a country, be aware of what's going on and trust that our leaders are taking this well in hand and handling the situation. But it's just something to be aware of. The other thing that I kind of found out the other day was my wife and I took a beautiful trip to Pennsylvania, which we have been before. We have been to Pennsylvania before, had a great time. So we figured, what the heck, let's go again. Stayed in Lancaster, beautiful hotel. I think it was the Country Inn by Radisson. Beautiful, beautiful hotel, nice pool, hot tub. And we went to Hershey World. I haven't been to Hershey World in years. And that's the huge candy store. And it has every possible type of candy you could ever imagine. It is fantastic. Sundaes, milkshakes, all kinds of different gifts that I didn't think were too expensive at all. Beautiful cups for hot chocolate and coffee. Excellent, excellent. We went to Lancaster to see the Amish, which was absolutely fantastic. But one of the things that hit me coming back into Massachusetts was that the Pennsylvania roads that we went on, the highways, and even the rural roads, are absolutely flawless. They are smooth as silk. Didn't see a pothole. Didn't see anything in any of the roads. Now we traveled quite a bit around. Hershey, the town of Hershey, Lancaster, Harrisburg, all around there. And then we observed at night the highways and the intersections are all lit up. The lanes are all lit up with little markers that light up at night, so you know where you're going. So we come back into Massachusetts, and I'm saying to myself, what is wrong with this picture? Massachusetts roads, for the most part, are deplorable. Now, Pennsylvania gets the exact same weather we do, if not worse. They get pretty good snowstorms. And even when I was down in Georgia, when one of my daughters lived down in Georgia, roads were absolutely beautiful. And so I'm saying to myself, what is going on with Massachusetts? So somebody put a bug in my ear the other day. They said that for years and years and years, the gas tax used to go into the road repair fund and bridge repair fund. And over the past few years, I guess the Senate and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, in their wisdom, decided to put that money in the general fund. So I'm not 100% sure about that. I haven't researched that, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's what's happening now. That the money is going into the general fund and not into the fund that repairs roads and bridges and things like that. There is something on I believe, the Massachusetts ballot come election time in a couple weeks, that wants to put checks and balances back in the state house. So we know what money they're spending, where the money's going. Now, they don't want that. They don't want checks and balances. Okay. But I want it as a citizen of Massachusetts. I want to know what's going on with my money. But there's just a couple things. Anyway, I just wanted to kind of review a book that I just finished, The Hidden Book by Kirstie Manning. Now, this goes back to Austria in the 1940s, Australia in 1980s to the present day. This is about a family. Of course, back in the 40s. This is when Hitler was in charge, and they had the camps, concentration camps. So basically, what it is 1940 in Austria. Yugoslav Niko Antonov is just one of the more than 200,000 people imprisoned in the Mauthausen concentration camp near the Danube River. Malnourished and forced into hard labor in a quarry, he still defies his captors any way he can. When fate brings him into contact with Lena Lang, a young woman living with her family in fear of their Nazi occupiers, he finds an ally. SS officers have charged Spanish POW and photographer Matteo Baca with recording the events and prisoners of Mauthausen in a book of photographs. Well, basically, these photographs made it down to the present day to the granddaughters of some of these people in the concentration camp. Very, very, very excellent book. I loved it. I connected with it. It's about 300 pages. Very, very good book. And brings back things that I should be recalling about history as to the tough times that the German people as a whole went through, forced into terrible camps, forced into supporting the Nazis. Either they supported them or they'd be killed or they'd be put into the concentration camps. But very, very good book. I kind of recommend it. The Hidden Book. Excellent, excellent book. Now, one book that I started, it's called The Enemy by Sarah Adams. The Enemy by Sarah Adams. Enemies should never get a second chance, but this one might. It's been 12 years since June Broden has seen her high school enemy and her secret crush, Ryan Henderson. That's a long time to hold a grudge over some petty feud, but the sharp memory of him dangling a kiss at graduation, then pulling away at the last second, has fueled many angry fantasies since. Now it's a chance to get even. Ryan, along with most of the high school class, is back in town for June's best friend's wedding. And June is eager to show the former bully exactly what he's missed out on. Very good book. Yeah, very, very good book. I liked it. Kind of a romance type thing. Very, very good. Now, this one is a popular book, The Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. Now, I was excited to get this book. I was excited to buy the book. Anastasia Allen has worked her entire life for a shot at Team USA. It looks like everything is going according to plan when she gets a full scholarship to the University of California, Maple Hills, and lands a place in their competitive figure skating team. Nothing will stand in her way, not even the captain of the hockey team, Nate Hawkins. Nate's focus as team captain is on keeping his team on the ice, which is tricky when a facilities mishap means they are forced to share a rink with the figure skating team, including Anastasia, who clearly can't stand him. I was really excited to get this book. I've read. I didn't finish it. I didn't even get halfway through it. I don't even know if I got a quarter way through it. And the reason is this, and it's me. The author chose to use words, very descriptive words in the book. that normally I don't read and I don't see when I'm reading a romance. Usually, most authors that I read don't get into the nitty gritty, the specific, explicit terms about sex and things like that. They leave it up to your imagination. They get you up to the forefront, and your mind takes over, and you use your imagination. This is explicit type things about sex, and there is some swearing in it. And not that I'm saying I don't swear, because I do sometimes. I try not to, but I don't need to really read all the explicit stuff about sex in here. So I'm probably going to give it another chance. But as soon as I started reading that, I kind of put it right down. I don't think authors need to go that far. If you're a good author, I'm going to give it another chance anyway and see what happens. But that's what kind of turned me off. I did finish this book, Foxglove by Adeline Grace. I didn't even realize that it was a junior romance. I had no idea it was a junior romance. I thought it was an adult romance, but it was great. It was great. And I'm sure a lot of people have read it. Like I said, I'm slow to be reading things that are up in the market, but it's a fantasy. It's about fate and death, and ghosts and things like that. Very, very easy reading. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It was, I don't know, what the heck are the pages on this thing? 440 pages, 450 pages, but it was a great book. It was a great book. The other book that I've been reading is The Essays of Ralph Waldo Emerson, introduced by Alfred Kazin. Now, this book is very good. It gets into his essays on manners, essays on nature, politics. It gets into experience. It gets into the poet. It gets into prudence, love, self-reliance. So these are his essays. Very nice. Very, very, very good book. So that's some of the stuff. I refer back to that every once in a while. And then in my bookshelf, thank God I kept these books. I have a bunch of Time Life hardcovers books that my aunt, probably back in the late 60s, early 70s, bought for me. And these are about the Vietnam War. Full, pictures, real pictures of the Vietnam War. I think it's interesting to at least look at these books. I don't think you have to read every single page in them, but they are interesting in the fact that the Vietnam War, and I know people, I'm 69, so I can remember vaguely about it. I think I was in high school. And I know it was a terrible war. I know I had a cousin in the war as a first lieutenant. He graduated Boston College and wanted to do his thing to help the United States. So he went in the Army as a first lieutenant, went right into the front lines of Vietnam. Luckily, he came home. But it's interesting to read what these soldiers went through. And, you depend on the president and politicians and Senate to tell you the truth about what is going on in the war. In the Vietnam War was basically a humongous disaster. I mean, thousands of U.S. troops got killed. Thousands of innocent Vietnamese people. And the Viet Cong, they got killed also, which they should have been. They're trying to take over the country. But basically, nobody won that war. We pulled out of there, but nobody won that war. I mean, it was absolutely a disaster, but it's good to read about these things. The other set that I have in my bookcase is about World War II, and I'm going to say, let's see, World War II. This is just one of them here. This is just one of them. Look at the hardcover, Reach for the Empire. It's Time Life. So it was back in In 1989, this was produced, but it comes with maps. Comes with the maps of different things. You know, how the war started, and all kinds of pictures and stuff like that. Reach for the Empire, and there's another one about the SS. What a terrible, terrible, terrible time in history. Time like the SS. Oh my God, brutal, unconscionable. Uh, how people can become innocent people at one point and then follow a dictator, a maniac dictator, and soldiers that used to be common folk join the army for fear of being killed and become killers themselves. It's important to know the history about what happened here. It's very, very important to know this. I mean, this was it was a life and death situation for the world. That's why the United States, Canada, every free country in Europe fought together to take down this regime. This was an unbelievable part of history, and it's like I think there's like 10 volumes of this, but unbelievable just to know it, just to find out what happened. So I'm going to continue my reading venture. I think that there's certainly a lot more to read for me. I enjoy watching YouTube, watching some of the people on it about reading books and stuff like that. I see a lot about videos on to be read and this, that, and the other thing. I don't haul in a lot of books at one time. I get like 2 or 3 books, and that's all I'm going to get until I read them. I'm not going to haul in, 60 books at once. It just puts too much pressure on me, and I'm just talking about me. I'm not talking about other people, but So, and like I said, I'm all about safety. I'm all about survival, and I know people have their own lives to live, but people in charge of things have to be held accountable for what's going on in life. We elect these people; they're getting paid big money, and they're supposed to be making decisions for our safety, the safety of the American people, our safety, our welfare, our survival. So you have to be aware of what's going on. What exactly are they doing? We've had many, many good presidents, and one that really comes to mind is, this is my feeling, is Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan, every time he broadcast a speech or an update on some important thing on the TV, everybody in my house stopped what they were doing to listen to Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan was interested in the welfare of the people of the United States of America. He's the one that negotiated taking down the Berlin Wall. He was a great human being, a great talker, a great negotiator. In this time in the stage of the world that we're in now, whatever president that we elect coming up has got to be a superb negotiator. We have so many issues coming up, and as American people, we better be aware of them. We have a lot of things going on in the world. North Korea, China, Iran, Russia, um, unrest basically all over the world. Um, and we've got to do a good job negotiating peace because this is what it's all about. This is what it's all about. It's negotiating peace and the welfare of the free world, not just the United States, but the welfare of the free world. So, anyway, I think reading and listening to the news every once in a while. I don't like listening to the news a lot because it's the same stuff over and over, and it's sensationalism. They put on what they want you to know, and this, that, and the other thing. But um, reading, I think, is good, and it's too bad that the newspapers have gone by the wayside. But I guess you can get it on, on the web and stuff like that, but on your phone. But I think reading books, reading some history, um, gets our mind open to what is going on in the world today. Of course, reading fiction, and you look up the studies. Just look up. I'm not going to quote the studies. Harvard University, others. There's at least 10 other studies, and famous professors in literature will tell you that reading fiction is simply wonderful for your brain. And reading fiction before bed, like I said before, is fantastic. Is fantastic to your body. I read not every night, and I hate to say it, because if I'm up watching sports or something like that, and I go to bed, I probably read 15 minutes, 20 minutes before bed. And usually, when I put the book down, I'm out. I'm out. Sound asleep. So I think it's something to try. I think reading is good, and you have to read what you like. You have to read what you like. If you're interested in planes, you get some books on planes, picture books on planes, read the descriptions. I know I have several people that are interested in trains. Well, they get train books, history of trains, current trains. Oh my God! So there's all kinds of things to read. People that are dog lovers, they get books on dogs, they get books on animals, and they read them. I mean, unbelievable. So anyway, that's where we are now. Just watching the incredible leaves fall outside. I know I'm supposed to be doing some leaf work. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it anymore. I want to hire somebody to do it. But I'm sure my wife and I, and we have a sit-down mower with a leaf bagger on it and stuff like that. We'll probably get some done this weekend. But yeah, it's just interesting just to think about these things. Like I said about the roads. Why are Massachusetts roads so bad when we've been through Connecticut and we've been through Pennsylvania? Now they get the exact same weather we do. They have just as many cars as we do, especially Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, the main route, 81, that is loaded 24/7, and I mean 24/7, with people cutting through the state, trucks, trailer trucks after trailer trucks after trailer trucks. There wasn't one day that you did not see hundreds of trailer trucks in Pennsylvania when we were there. I mean, all night long. They have truck stops, all different things. So they get the same amount of usage we do, the same amount of weather we do, but they take care of their roadways. It's important for commerce. I just hope that we in Massachusetts are getting the bang for our buck. Our taxes and everything else, I hope they're going to the right place. But anyway, I'm going to sign off now. I hope everybody has a great end of the week, a great weekend, especially here in Massachusetts. It's supposed to be unbelievable. Going to get a little cool towards Sunday, and I can't wait to light up the fireplace and have some people over. Some of my grandkids will be coming over and stuff like that. I'll have a nice meal and things like that. So I'm going to sign off now, and I hope everybody stays well and continue reading. Thank you.